I'm Madeline Lemon, holistic wellness coach and hypnotherapist, sharing lifestyle, dietary, and mindset tips that help you heal mind, body, and soul. My goal is to empower you to make the changes needed to live your most vibrant, healthy, and fulfilled life. You can download my free meditation for chronic and acute illness, as well as find out more about my one-on-one hypnotherapy and wellness coaching sessions at madelinelemon.com. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to my new kitchen. I am excited because today we're going to be talking about coffee enemas. Now, before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button below so that you don't miss any of my new videos. Okay, so let's get right into it. I'm going to talk a little bit about what coffee enemas do in the body and how they work, and then I'm going to share my process for making coffee enemas and administering them from A to Z so that it's super, super simple. And then at the end, I'm going to be sharing some of my best tips and tricks for being successful in doing coffee enemas if you're just doing them for the first time. So why would you want to do a coffee enema in the first place? Well, there are a ton of different opinions on exactly what coffee enemas do or don't do in the body and the benefits that they provide. However, in the research that I've done, in a nutshell, what a coffee enema does is stimulate the liver and the gallbladder to increase the flow of bile to help your liver detoxify. Now, why would you want to do that? Basically, the way I see it, our bodies were created with a beautiful, innate ability to detoxify. And in a perfect world, we wouldn't need any help. However, we live in the 21st century and we're bombarded with chemicals and pollutants and pesticides that we never have been before in history. And in addition to that, if you're doing any kind of active herbal cleansing, other type of cleansing, or detoxifying, sometimes in those situations, your body just needs extra support. Now, I've been doing coffee enemas every day for almost a year, which may sound insane, but the reason that I've been doing this is because I have been on a pretty intense gut healing protocol that includes some herbal cleanses that are also very intense. And so in that process, I've experienced a lot of detoxification and die-off symptoms that have left me sometimes just laid up on the couch, a lot of emotions, a lot of exhaustion, headaches, and things like that. And so by doing coffee enemas daily, it really, really helps take the edge off. It gives me energy and clarity and helps me cope with all that my body is going through and just gives my body a little bit of assistance. Now, for the average person, I think you probably don't need to do one coffee enema a day unless you're doing kind of active cleansing. Now, this being said, do whatever you feel comfortable with. This is in no way medical advice or any advice at all. It's really just my experience. When I'm finished with this protocol, I'll probably shift to doing one a week, maybe once every couple of weeks as maintenance. So that's pretty much the gist of my story with coffee enemas. They're amazing. I'm not going to get any more into the benefits because you can find that elsewhere. One thing I will say though, however, is that they are amazing for hangovers. I don't drink personally, but I know plenty of friends who do. And if they do a coffee enema the next morning after drinking, it is like instant when it comes to taking away a hangover. So it's pretty amazing. But what I want to do is get right into the kitchen, to the stove, and show you exactly how I make my coffee enemas. So today I'm going to share the Stovetop method for making coffee enemas, which is the most simple, straightforward way. However, at the end, when I'm done, I'm also going to show you how I use the Instant Pot to batch make my coffee enemas when I'm doing them every single day. Sometimes I like to make them ahead of time for about 3 days so that I don't have to make them every morning, since it is probably like a 20 to 30 minute process to make them. Okay, so let me show you my ingredients. Okay, so this recipe is to make 2 coffee enemas. Now I have brought 4 cups of water to a boil, and I'm just going to take it off of the heat. And then over here I have some of my other supplies. The main thing you want is your enema coffee, of course. Now I use this brand Cafe Mom, which is absolutely awesome. I've been using them for about a year. They are not only organic, sustainable, and fair trade, but they're also really reasonably priced, which is really, really difficult to find with organic coffee. So I use their therapy roast, which they pre-grind for you, which is awesome. So it comes in a bag. You can get all different sizes, but I store mine in a mason jar in the freezer so that it stays fresh. You can find a link for this coffee below in the description box, but if you're buying any kind of other coffee, you just want to make sure that it's organic and that it's a light to medium roast, preferably light roast, and that will be perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to grab 6 tablespoons of this coffee. Now I am making enough for 2 coffee enemas. So the basic conversion is that you want to use 3 tablespoons per enema unless you're using the Instant Pot, which I'll explain in a minute. Okay, once you put your coffee in there, you just want to bring it back to a boil for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then after it's boiled for that amount of time, you're gonna lower the heat to low and let it simmer for 12 to 15 minutes. If you let it boil for 3 minutes, I would simmer it for 15. If you let it boil for 5, let it simmer for 12. All right, so my coffee is done simmering, and I just wanted to show you the 2 options that I have to strain the coffee. So the first one is using a big Pyrex dish like this that holds 4 cups and using a fine mesh strainer. Now, I don't have a strainer that's quite fine enough. So the other option to use is a nut milk bag. Now, this was white when I bought it, but you can see it's well loved. I've used it to make coffee enemas a million times. But basically what I do is I take it and I put it in a mason jar and I stuff it in like this and fold it over the sides, and this just creates the perfect little receptacle for the coffee enema when I pour it in there. So my coffee has boiled down a lot, and I'm just gonna pour it into the mason jar. So I often make a really big mess, which I just did. So I've strained my coffee and made about 2 cups worth of coffee. And don't worry if yours isn't exactly 2 cups. You're just going to use half of it for one enema and save the other half for another enema. That way you don't have to make more every single day. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm going to pour half of it into this mason jar, but I'm gonna do it off camera because I know that I'm gonna spill even more. So I've got 1 cup of coffee in here, or half of my solution that I made, and I am going to top it off to equal 3 cups total. So no matter where your half of your solution is, if it's more like 1.5 cups or it's more like 2.5 cups, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna top it off till it makes 3 cups, and you're gonna use room temperature or cold filtered water. So now I've got my solution. It's 3 cups. It's about room temperature or a little bit warmer. You don't want to use hot water. You don't want to use cold water. But if you're about room temp or a little bit warmer, you're good to go. And we are ready to go into the bathroom. Now, actually, before we go, I just want to talk to you about what to do if you want to use the Instant Pot. So this is really great if you want to make a big batch of enemas. So you're going to use your Instant Pot on low pressure. And for every enema you want to do, you're going to use 2 tablespoons of coffee and 1.25 cups of water. So you want a little extra water because some of it will evaporate, and you have to use less coffee because it is so pressurized, it's stronger. So all you do, I actually normally make about 4 enemas at a time. So I do 5 cups of water, and then I do 8 tablespoons of coffee. I put it into my Instant Pot, turn it on, and it takes a few minutes to pressurize. So as it's pressurizing, you want to kind of be in the same room and be aware for when it is pressurized. So when you hear that beep and your timer goes off, it really doesn't matter what time you put on there, because you're only going to leave it in for about 15 seconds once it's pressurized. So you hear the beep, wait 15 seconds, depressurize it, and you're ready to go. And you should have at that point about a cup of water per enema. So you can put that in a mason jar, strain it, save it in your fridge for a few days, and just every time you want to do a coffee enema, take a cup out and top it off with, at that point, since it'll be cold from the refrigerator, a little warm water or hot water and cold water. And basically you just want it to be room temperature. Okay, so that's it, super easy. Let's go to the bathroom. Okay, so we're in the bathroom and we're ready to do the coffee enema. Now this is the part that might be a little bit scary for some people, but it really is not a big deal. And you'll see after the first time you do it that you had nothing to worry about. Okay, so we have our coffee mixture and we have an enema bag. Now this bag is made of silicone, which is super easy to clean and it's non-toxic. You can also get stainless steel bags. I think they make some type of a glass enema kit. I've never used one or even seen one, but there's a lot of different options. The main thing is you just want it to be really easy to clean. So I also have here a little thing of coconut oil, and this is to lubricate the tip, which makes it a lot easier. So basically what I do before I get started is I take the tube and I just get the tiniest amount of coconut oil and I put it on here and I lubricate this part of it, and it's just a few inches. If you have a different kit, you just want to lubricate the first 4 inches or so. So now I just want to make sure that my hose is in the closed position. So I'm going to close it, otherwise it's just going to come shooting out. And then all you're going to do is take your room temperature coffee solution, pour it in the bag, and then you're just going to run it through the hose. So all you want to do is you're going to put this in the sink where it can go down the drain, and you just open it and let it run out to get all the air bubbles out, and then close it. Now you are ready to go. So I've got this hanging on a towel rack that's pretty high up because I'm going to be on the floor, and you want gravity to be able to take the coffee down. Okay, so I'm obviously not going to take my pants off, which is what you would do in this situation, but it's great if you can have a pillow to put your head on and either have a towel or a mat underneath you. I like to have a yoga mat because it provides a little bit of cushion. So what you're going to do is you're just going to get on the floor and you're going to lay on your right side. So the reason you're laying on your right side is because you want your colon to be flowing the right way so that it's easier to hold in. So all you're going to do is insert this and open your tube. Now, there's a lot of different types of tubes, and this one is my favorite. And so you just want to let the coffee come all the way into you, and you can slow it down by closing and opening if you're having a little bit of cramping. But once you're done, you're just going to lay on your side for 15 minutes. And after those 15 minutes are up, and I usually like watch a TV show or listen to a book or something like that, then you're going to release. All right, so that's it. It's super easy. The hardest part is holding it in, which don't be surprised if for the first few times you have trouble. But there's a couple things that you can do to make it easier. The first is to do a water flush before you do your coffee enema. I do this almost every single morning because I have a little bit of trouble holding it in. So just get some lukewarm filtered water, run it in like you would your coffee enema, kind of massage your stomach a little bit, and then release that before you do your coffee enema. Now, if you're doing more than one coffee enema a day, just pay really close attention to replenishing your electrolytes because it can deplete you if you're doing a few. I know of some people who do like 4 a day when they're heavily detoxing, but you certainly don't have to do that much a day. If you are though, just be really cautious and conscious of staying hydrated. But other than that, it's really simple. It's nothing to be afraid of. And I think that you'll find that you feel really good after you do it. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to ask them in the comments below. I'm sure there are things I forgot, but otherwise I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. And again, make sure to subscribe. Bye.